There's a serial killer stalking the streets of New York. He's called the Zodiac, and he promises to kill one person for each astrological sign. He insists he is also the San Francisco Zodiac who murdered at least 6 people 20 years ago. Darlene Ferrin was killed by Zodiac on July 4th, 1969. Today, we're going to talk with her sister, who says that Zodiac has placed a coffin on her doorstep, scratched a cross on her house, and now wants her dead.
Welcome to Planet Mystery, where we unravel the most intriguing cases from around the globe. Today, we explore one of the most infamous, unsolved mysteries in criminal history, the Zodiac Killer. It all began on December 20th, 1968, when high school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were shot and killed on Lake Herman Road, a quiet, secluded area. The senseless violence shocked the community, but it was only the beginning. Betty Lou and David were on their first date, planning to attend a Christmas concert at Hogan High School. Instead, their lives were cut short by an unknown assailant. Their bodies were discovered by passing motorists, and the investigation began immediately. Just 6 months later, on July 4th, 1969, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau were attacked while sitting in their car at Blue Rock Springs Park. Michael survived and provided a description of the attacker, but the case remained unsolved. Darlene was a popular waitress, and Michael, her friend, had joined her for a late-night drive. Their peaceful evening turned into a nightmare when a car pulled up beside them, and the driver opened fire. Despite being gravely injured, Michael survived and later recounted the horrifying experience to the police. The Zodiac Killer first communicated with the public on August 1st, 1969, sending letters to 3 newspapers: the Vallejo Times-Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner. These letters included cryptic ciphers, demanding they be published on the front page. He claimed responsibility for the attacks and promised more violence. The letters were signed with a distinctive symbol, a circle with a cross through it, which would become synonymous with the Zodiac Killer. Each letter contained details only the killer would know, cementing his credibility and instilling fear in the public. Despite efforts by amateur and professional cryptographers, only one of the 4 ciphers sent by the Zodiac has been definitively solved.
Look for a similar repeated pattern. And the major thing was that we felt that the word kill or killing would appear in his code, and the word I, because he had an ego.
The 408-symbol cipher, decoded by a school teacher and his wife, revealed a chilling message. "I like killing people because it is so much fun." The mystery deepened and fear spread across the region. The Zodiac's taunting letters and ciphers became a twisted game, with the killer daring the police and the public to catch him. On September 27, 1969, college students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were picnicking at Lake Berryessa when they were brutally attacked. The killer, wearing a hooded costume with a crosshair symbol, tied them up and stabbed them repeatedly. Brian survived and provided a chilling account of the attack. Brian and Cecilia were enjoying a relaxing afternoon by the lake when a man approached them, brandishing a gun. He claimed to be an escaped convict and demanded money and their car keys. After binding their hands and feet, he inexplicably began stabbing them. Brian survived, but Cecilia succumbed to her injuries 2 days later. Just 2 weeks later, on October 11, 1969, cab driver Paul Stine was shot and killed in San Francisco's Presidio Heights. This time, the Zodiac sent a piece of Stine's bloodied shirt to the San Francisco Chronicle, taunting the police and media. Paul Stine was shot in his cab after picking up a passenger. The killer took Stine's wallet and keys, tore off a piece of his shirt, and walked away. Despite witnesses seeing the suspect, he managed to elude capture. The Zodiac's boldness and the proximity of this crime to the heart of San Francisco further heightened the public's fear. The Zodiac killer's letters and ciphers continued to arrive, but despite the extensive investigation, law enforcement struggled to identify the killer. Several suspects were considered, but none could be definitively linked to the crimes.
Every time the Zodiac would send us a letter, we were spurred on because we gleaned a little bit of intelligence information out of every letter that he sent us. And we just hoped that we could latch on to one little thing that might lead us to the Zodiac killer. We knew an awful lot about this killer.
One of the primary suspects was Arthur Lee Allen, a convicted child molester and former teacher. Allen was identified by several people who claimed he matched the Zodiac's description, and he possessed items similar to those used by the killer. However, DNA evidence later ruled him out. Another suspect was Richard Gaikowski, a journalist who worked at a San Francisco newspaper at the time of the murders. His colleagues noted his interest in the Zodiac case and peculiar behavior, but no concrete evidence linked him to the crimes. Theories about the Zodiac killer's identity abound. Was he an ex-military man, a disgruntled loner, or someone with deep psychological issues? Each theory brought new suspects and renewed interest in the case. In 2018, a team of independent investigators claimed to have identified the Zodiac killer using advanced genealogical methods. Their suspect, Gary Francis Post, had died in 2018, and while circumstantial evidence seemed compelling, official confirmation was never achieved.
A California killing spree that's captivated the world for decades. Now a group of sleuths claims to have solved the case of the infamous Zodiac killer.
Yeah, get this. They think that he was a man living in Tuolumne County the whole time who died just 3 years ago.
The Case Breakers, a group whose website claims to be made up of retired law enforcement and military members, claims to have cracked the code in letters the Zodiac killer wrote, identifying the killer as Gary Francis Post, who lived and worked as a painter in Groveland but died in 2018.
Despite these efforts, the true identity of the Zodiac killer remains a mystery. The case continues to fascinate and terrify, leaving us with more questions than answers. The story of the Zodiac killer is a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the human soul. As we close this chapter, we remember the victims and the tireless efforts of those seeking justice. The Zodiac may remain in the shadows, but the search for the truth continues. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the mystery, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Planet Mystery. See you in the next one.